You know a lot about golf.
Well, we're waiting.
Those weekend golf guys. It is us, John Ashton, here in studio. Jeff Smith, God knows where. He claims to be a golf instructor, yet there are myriad people who are calling us saying, wait a minute now, we keep knocking on the doors of the golf cave at Otter Creek in Columbus, and Jeff won't answer.
Well, I will answer. On the days that I'm there, I'm really there. And then the days that I'm not there, I'm usually out of town.
Yeah.
I happen to be in the beautiful rolling hills of Tennessee at the moment. I've spent some time in North Carolina yesterday teaching golf. Today, I spent a little bit of time with a golf instructor friend of mine, Mr. Virgil Herring. He is Golf Magazine top 100 teacher kind of guy. And we spent a little bit of time together talking about some teaching techniques and some things that we'd like to do together. And I am happy to report that I've had a lot of fun. I'm headed back to Columbus, so all of my students in Columbus, Indiana, are now able to get some help because I'm actually going to be there tonight.
Did you learn anything?
So, I learned a lot of stuff. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I even did something that was not learning and not teaching. I supported a local Girl Scout. She was selling some Thin Mint cookies, and I was certainly obliged to buy some.
Of course you are.
Those are my absolute favorite Girl Scout cookies.
You know what you do with Thin Mints,
the one
man?
thing I want to know.
Okay.
You eat them.
No.
You eat them. You eat them, a lot of them.
Yeah, but this is what you do. You take them out of the package, and you squirt some whipped cream between them, and then you put them in the freezer for about an hour.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You see, I've not been around Thin Mint cookies long enough to do that.
Yeah, well, after a while they get boring. You have to start going for alternative methods. So 1 box Thin Mint cookies.
That's terrific.
Remove from box, spread whipped cream liberally between each slice, put them back in the package, and put them in the freezer. And then just sit back and pour yourself maybe a cup of hot cocoa or some coffee or something. And
that sounds fantastic.
You will never eat a Thin Mint a la carte again. And you thought we were only here to talk about golf, didn't you, huh? We are well-rounded individuals.
I want to know one thing about Thin Mint cookies. I need to know how many Thin Mint cookies it takes before I start to see results. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
I think you're...
But, people ask me that all the time. How many golf shots do they have to hit until they see results?
Right. How many?
1.
And you either did it or you didn't do it.
No, realistically, when I train people's golf shots, or to hit certain golf shots, they're going to learn what it's going to take for that club to touch the ball to move the ball the way they want. When I set them up to do it, and then I train them to do it, and then they kind of get a handle on that, I'm going to put a ball down there, and then next thing you know, they're going to make that club move in the way it needs to move, and that ball is going to jump out of there, and it's going to do what they're talking about doing, and they're going to be amazed. I'm like, yep, see, you could do that. And the guys that come to me are always the guys that say, I can't do this, I can never hit a draw, because I'm always hitting a slice, and that's all I ever do. And I'm like, well, that's all you ever set up to do, and that's all you've ever told yourself how to do it. They just don't know what it needs to do, and it's, generally speaking, it's the opposite of what they've been doing.
But see, most of us who hit a slice don't do it consciously or on purpose.
Right.
So we wouldn't know
what
it is.
But half of them know they're cutting across it. Then I'll go, well, why wouldn't you cut across it the opposite direction to make it go the opposite direction? They're like, that's just a little too smart.
Well, no, I may know when I slice the ball that I'm coming across it, but I don't know what it is I'm doing that makes me come across it. So therefore, I can't
Sometimes
consciously
you don't need
replicate.
To know what you do to come across that. Right, but if I just said, okay, then we need to move the club the other way, how would we go about doing that? And then I'd show them, here's what your hands and arms would then do. And they go, oh, I can clearly see that my club does move that way. So then we sit there and we'll train that a little bit and then get them to feel it.
Right.
And then I'll have them make a few swings like that, and we can have some evidence that the club was moving that way. I might put something down for them to swing around. Like a little barrier or something.
Or
yeah. Like a head cover or another golf ball. Hit this one without hitting that one.
Yeah. And I'll give you a nickel.
Yeah. Or a Thin Mint cookie. I don't know.
Yeah. See, but my point was...
I'm not sure I'll do that. I think I'd much rather give him a nickel.
Yes, because that's you can't buy a Thin Mint for a nickel anymore. But my point was, unless you have a Jeff Smith-ish guy watching and explaining, you are coming across it because you are doing A, followed by B, followed by C, followed by D, F, G through Z, which are all wrong, then you're not going to be able to understand. But that's why you take lessons, so you understand. Because before you can fix what you're doing wrong, you have to understand what you're doing wrong, or at least understand how to do it right.
I think that's the point I was trying to make, is sometimes I'm not going to bog them down with what they're doing. I might just redirect their focus into what they need to be doing.
Right.
And then I'll set them up so that they can physically pull that off.
Okay.
So they have, instead of the thoughts of, because there's only so many things that we can process at one time, and those of us like me, I can only handle one.
That's right.
So I would want to make sure that would be a to do thing instead of a not to do thing.
Exactly.
Because if you tell them, what they were doing to make that other shot that they didn't want happen, I don't want my students to be in the world of avoiding the negative. I'd rather much have them be in the world of working toward the positive.
Work toward this positive. We've got a lot more to come. We're going to be talking about how to get fitted properly for a putter, how to play properly in a one-club tournament. Wow. That sounds challenging.
Yeah.
It's fun, though. We're going to be right back. We are those Weekend Golf Guys. Don't you move.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Then get on board with the Tax Admiral and let us steer your way to financial freedom.
The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. They can freeze your bank accounts, seize your car, home, will garnish your paychecks and benefits.
Don't take on the IRS alone. I can fight for you using industry secrets that can help stop the IRS. I'll cut your penalties, slash your interest, and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company with over 30 years experience helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. And we have a 95% customer satisfaction rating.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, are facing an audit, a lien, or levy, then call me right away.
Call 800-329-2708. Again, that's 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-554-4183 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-554-4183 to take your call now. Call 800-554-4183. That's 800-554-4183. Again, 800-554-4183.
And from the Encore Golf Studios, we are those Weekend Golf Guys. That's where you find us on the weekends, right here every weekend, same time, same place. We really do appreciate you hanging out. I'm John Ashton. Jeff Smith, my cohort, he's the S in guys, is what he is, because alone, either one of us would just be a weekend golf guy. But we're not. We're guys. A couple of us here. Jeff Smith, of course, from Otter Creek, the Plain and Simple Golf School in Columbus, Indiana. But today, somewhere on the road in Tennessee. But I wanted to ask you a question, man, because a lot of times amateurs are confused by the whole talk of loft and lie. And, we talked last week and the week prior to that a little bit about fitting clubs. But I was given a a Tour Edge Exotics. I mean, very nice golf club. It's what they call their X9, and it's kind of a hybrid-looking club.
Uh-huh.
But I was looking at it, and it's a 19-degree loft. So's my 5-wood. So my question is, why would I need to carry 2 clubs in my bag of the same loft? Or do I?
Have you put those 2 clubs next to each other and looked at them?
No.
First suggestion, try that.
Okay.
You're going to notice a few differences. One of them is going to have more mass, and it's going to be your 5-wood.
Right.
And that mass is going to be further, the center of mass of that club is going to be further from the ball, meaning it's behind the face more because the head is larger. It's more elongated in the back than a hybrid club, which is kind of squashed toward the front.
Right.
So first, that 19-degree club struck the same way will launch the ball higher.
The 5-wood will launch it higher.
Because the center of gravity of the 5-wood will launch it higher.
Okay.
And it'll provide a little bit more spin because it's not just the loft, but the center of gravity of that club is further back and quite possibly lower. We don't know, but it certainly is further back.
Right. Okay.
Now, another thing you'll look at is that the hybrid shaft is significantly shorter than your 5-wood shaft. So your 5-wood will come in with ostensibly a higher club head speed. So if you have a higher club head speed and also higher launch, guess which club's going to hit it further?
The 5-wood.
Right. So a lot of people, they get these clubs in their hands and they go, well, this degree is this and this degree is that, but yet they're not taking into account other properties of the club that will make a difference in the carry distance and height and how a ball spins and jumps out of there. You just got to know that it's not only the loft that matters. There's a lot of things about a club.
So with the hybrid then, the X9, which is, they have it listed as a 3 hybrid, would that be useful in particular situations or particular lies or particular meteorological conditions or what?
I'll tell you, particular lies especially, coming out of the rough, there's a lot of people struggle with a longer shaft that'll effectively be a flatter swing plane coming into the rough, and it might not get down to where the golf ball is sometimes, but with the shorter shafted hybrid, it comes in a little bit steeper, a little bit similar to an iron. It'll come in there, and it'll come out of there pretty hot.
Okay.
So a lot of times, people use the hybrids out of light rough and have tremendous success. And then sometimes people tee off with hybrids. Generally speaking, the launch angle is a little bit lower than the fairway wood, and it penetrates pretty well. So if it's a windy day, the 5-wood 19 degrees might balloon up into the air a little bit, so you may want to pull out the hybrid that launches the ball, a little bit lower and maybe not with as much spin, and it would keep it below the tree line. Yes, there are situations that you would choose one club over another. Sometimes it's just the conditions that are on the ground, like I mentioned with the rough, and sometimes it's conditions of in the air, and maybe it's a little windy. A lot of people find that the shorter shaft is also easier to hit off of tight lies, like irons are.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your 19-degree club, and maybe you're sitting there staring at a 190-yard shot out of the fairway, and it's a really nice tight lie. And you might think, I'm not sure if this hybrid or if this fairway wood is going to do it because I don't have too much success hitting fairway woods off the fairway as much. Well, maybe you'll find out that the length of the hybrid shaft matches up better, swing it more like an iron, and you may have better success with that. Lots of people are going to those hybrid clubs. They have for years because of the effect of that.
One more quick question
Sometimes they're just flat out easier to hit.
One more quick question about a 5-wood. I can hit my 5-wood more easily and sometimes further than I can my 3. Is that basically
your 3-wood?
3-wood, yeah. Is that just a question of confidence?
Not a surprise.
Okay, why?
No, it's a question of club head speed.
Okay.
There's an awful lot of people out there, John, who have club head speed enough to get enough loft on the ball initially to get the ball up in the air with a 3-wood or a 5-wood, but you might not have enough club head speed to keep a ball in the air with a 3-wood because it's got lower loft, where you need a little bit higher ball speed and a little bit more spin to keep the shot that you just hit with a 3-wood up into the air longer. So sometimes people will have a hard time hitting a 3-wood as far as if you're there 5.
Well, at least I'm not alone.
And-
I like that because I like not being
Right.
alone. I like not being strange.
Right. I didn't want to just cut it. Yeah, I didn't want to say it in a short, quick manner like, geez, John, you just don't have enough clubhead speed to hit a 3-wood well. I didn't want to say that. I wanted to drag that out just a little bit longer so then I could repeat myself.
Yeah, and just say, hey, John, you're too frickin' old to hit a 3-wood. Give it up. All right, we're going to come right back. We're going to be talking about a lot of cool stuff. We're going to talk about, how to get fitted for a putter, why putter heads are big and why you probably could use one, and a whole lot more, and a fun alternative format to get to when you're on the golf course. We are those weekend golf guys. We're coming back. Yeah, hope you will too. And Jeff Smith is ready to go. He wants to see your video. Just go to facebook.com/golf guys. You can get all the details there.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving, but my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call. But I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free just for calling 877-376-2829. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-376-2829. That's 877-376-2829.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Then get on board with the Tax Admiral and let us steer your way to financial freedom.
The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. They can freeze your bank accounts, seize your car, home, will garnish your paychecks and benefits.
Don't take on the IRS alone. I can fight for you using industry secrets that can help stop the IRS. I'll cut your penalties, slash your interest, and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company with over 30 years experience helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. And we have a 95% customer satisfaction rating.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, are facing an audit, a lien, or levy, then call me right away.
Call 800-329-2708. Again, that's 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708.
Hey, Jeff, I got to come to you, man. I need some help. Out playing golf last weekend, 4 of us, at least 2 of them, outdrove me on a regular occasion.
To pick up your club head speed, I have found these training aids that are just the world's best thing I've ever seen. Super Speed Golf has some training aid sticks, and they've got this beautiful training program that goes with them that you can get online. My clients have picked up a lot of club head speed and a lot of distance in a relatively short period of time. I'm more impressed with this than I am with anything else that I've ever seen on the market to make people swing their club faster. And we all know that's what, one of the big factors in producing distance.
That's right. Faster equals longer. That's what I'm looking for, man. Longer.
That's right.
By being faster. Super Speed. What's the website? Where do I go? Superspeedgolf.com.
Go to superspeedgolf.com. Pick up some of these sticks. Go through their training program. It is eye-popping how much distance you'll pick up.
And welcome back. We are those weekend golf guys from the Encore Golf Studios. John Ashton right here. Boy, they're nice and warm, these Encore Golf Studios. I like it because it's still a little chilly outside here in the Bluegrass State. And down in the Volunteer State, where Mr. Jeff is plying the roads in the Golf Guys mobile studio, it's a little bit more comfortable, but you're headed back to the frigid tundras of Indiana, the Plain and Simple Golf School in Columbus. So
That's right.
Yeah. It'll be nice to be kind of static for a while because you've been on the road ever since like a week before the PGA show,
Way
man.
too
This
much.
is a month of on the road stuff for you. In fact, last week you couldn't even make it. You were so far on the road, so far out in the hinterlands We couldn't even find a signal for you. So
well, it was a good trip. That one was. I'm sorry about not being able to make the show, but certainly a worthwhile trip.
I understand. And you're forgiven. 1 out of 52 we'll allow. Don't be going for 2 out of 52 though. We're going to have to rework your contract.
I was on vacation.
But wanted to thank.
You're making a permanent vacation, are you?
And wanted to thank Brooke Watts from Star Ranch in Austin for capably filling in for you. You may be in jeopardy of your job, buddy. I'm just saying. She does sound a lot prettier.
I know, she sounds better than I do.
She certainly does,
yeah,
man.
She does.
But one of the conversations we had that I wanted to address with you is one of the exercises she gives her students on short game is she's got multiple lengths on her tee, short lengths, like 40-yard, 50-yard, 80-yard, 100-yard. And she'll put 10 balls down in front of a student and say, okay, how many of these can you get on the green at 40 yards? Because that's a shot. If you're 40 yards out, you can't think you're only going to make it 80% of the time or 70% of the time. You got to be confident enough to know that from 40 yards out, you're going to put that ball on the green, or you're not going to score well at all, right?
Right.
So that's one thing to build up confidence and build up technique with the different clubs. But then she will do the same thing, but she will determine what club you use.
Right.
And you have to make the adjustment, whether in grip or in...
Instantly.
Yeah. So what kind of adjustments are you looking like? You can get a pitching wedge in your hand, because a lot of us don't carry a full complement of wedges. At least in my head, my excuse for not being able to hit a ball accurately 110 yards is I don't have a gap wedge. And then she went on to tell me what she does to her students, which made that excuse just totally worthless.
Correct. Did she tell you how she beats them over the head with a wedge? No?
I didn't think she wanted that broadcast, so the authorities wouldn't know.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So I have a pitching wedge, which I can hit consistently, accurately 120 yards. What do I do if I got my pitching wedge in my hand and I only have to go 110?
This happens quite a bit to people on the golf course because, the cart's way over there and they've walked over and they realize that, they didn't bring the right club, or they simply, in your case, don't have the right club for that yardage. And so then what they must do is make do. So there are adjustments that you can make. You can begin to grip down. You can begin to make your swing slower. You can make your swing shorter. You can change the ball position around. I've worked with an awful lot of people to get them to maybe open up their stance a little bit, put the ball in a different place, so that when they come down, the ball is being struck with a club moving in a different direction, and maybe it's not moving as hard that direction either. So, there's a lot of small little adjustments you can make. Sometimes you can change your foot position by dropping your left foot back. If you're a right-handed golfer, that'd be your lead foot.
Right.
Drop it back about half a foot, and then what happens is it cuts off your backswing and thus making it a little bit shorter. And as you come down through, it helps you come down and kind of cut across it a little bit. And then so it pops up into the air a little bit more. So it has a little bit higher trajectory on a shot like that, and it won't travel quite as far, have a little bit of spin when it gets there. There's all kinds of small little adjustments that can be made in every part of the setup.
This is another one of those things where, there is no formula. There's no chart. Choke down 2 inches on the grip of your pitching wedge and you're going to cut 10 yards off of it or anything. This is something that you're actually going to have to take to a range, take a bucket of balls and the clubs that you want to get familiar with and actually practice.
I know that's hard for you to say.
It is.
So I'll let you try it again. Go ahead.
No, never mind.
Go ahead, Mr. Iverson. Let's see if it's practice. See if you can do it.
Practice. The dreaded P word. But, there isn't any chart or any rule of thumb or anything like that. You have to...
There's a few things that there's somewhat of a chart as say, about gripping down and changing foot position at the same time that can reduce the swing arc. And there are some things that can increase the swing arc, but then you're still dealing with the thing that, that's the major player, and that's the energy that you're swinging the club with. Because we've all seen Phil Mickelson. As wonderful a short game player as he is, sometimes he hit and the ball still doesn't travel very far, and people are like, well, wait a minute, his swing was long, how did he make it go short? obviously was long and very soft.
Yeah.
As opposed to a shorter, firmer shot that would actually put more energy into the golf ball. So the number one thing that we can adjust is really our level of effort that we're swinging with. But there are certain people that try to reduce either the swing arc, and so it's not swinging as far back and through, or they're trying a little bit closer to the low point, which puts it in a different place on the face, and it pops it up in the air a little bit differently and provides more spin. So there are lots of ways and little factors, but the number one thing is how much energy we're actually swinging with.
A totally non-related question, but one that just triggered it in my skewed brain here with your conversation, especially about Phil. How good a player do you have to be before you won't cringe when you see guys messing with the head of the club, trying to open it up and things like that, like Mickelson and other PGA pros do?
Well, I think that there's a combination of two things. Skill, which comes from practice. I know, John, this is hard for you to hear this. But the people who have practiced enough to acquire a skill to a certain level, and the other piece is what's the wedge in their hand? What's the bounce angle of the club? How wide is the sole plate? What is the grind on the club? Because some are set already to have ground off the heel a little bit, and so it can sit a little bit more open and sit square, flush to the ground, where the leading edge is not up because they've made a grind.
That's what happens when you get the guru out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, we're about to make some bad noise here. You need to hang up. The middle of nowhere, Tennessee. I think he was about to say something really, really profound, but we'll never know. We'll never know.
Will remain a mystery.
Will he ever return? Will he ever return? His fate is still unlearned. Oh, what a pity. We will be back. I just want to let you know that if you haven't practiced, take it from me, from experience. I've watched people do this. Not that I would try. But if you try to emulate one of those Mickelson greenside flop shots and you do it by opening, that is a recipe for disaster.
That's a Blade Runner.
I'm just saying. We are those weekend golf guys. We're going to go find Jeff Smith, and we will be right back. Don't you move.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-554-4183 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-554-4183 to take your call now. Call 800-554-4183. That's 800-554-4183. Again, 800-554-4183.
Hey, Jeff, I was watching the Golf Channel, believe it or not, the other day, and they did this thing on drivers, and they were showing where on the face of a driver you get the best reaction. And they said that, you hit it below the equator, you're going to lose like 10 to 20 yards. If you hit it on the heel, you're going to lose space. The best place to hit it is in the upper quadrant by the toe.
Yeah, most of the drivers today are kind of built that way, where I think what they did is they may have figured out where most of the people have been hitting it anyway, and they kind of put the hot spot over, where it's like a little above the center of the club and a little bit towards the toe, thinking that they could get people to hit it a little bit farther. But you know what? There's so many people out there that can't hit it there, regardless of the one little spot they put it. There's people can't hit it anyway.
Yeah.
So, you're struggling.
I was going to say, that's the whole thought between what Dean Knuth did with the high heat driver, is make the whole face a sweet spot. Yeah.
He knew that the average amateur golfer, he can't pick out what spot on the club he's going to hit it. He had to make it so the whole thing was hot.
Yeah.
So no matter, he designed it. When he was telling us about how he designed that thing, I was completely amazed. He taught me something that I did not know. The center of gravity on his club is actually below the center line, and it's the only club that's ever been on the market that the center of gravity of the club is actually below it. He moved it around so that every place was a hot spot on the face. So, I mean, what a perfect driver built for the average guy, because the average guy can't pinpoint where the heck he's going to hit the ball on the face.
Exactly. You will make fewer mistakes, fewer bad shots. Knuth Golf, KNUTHgolf.com. They're going to ask you if you want to buy one, where you heard about it. Tell them you heard about it from those Weekend Golf guys, and the whole club will cost you $70 less. All right, you're going to get a $70 discount because you are our listeners. Knuth Golf, KNUTHgolf.com. It's a high heat driver. The entire face is a sweet spot. You need one. And welcome back to the Encore Golf Studios. You got to check out that new ball. It's almost March, the Avant ball. The imperative form of the Italian word to go, Avanta, and it does
Avante.
too. I've used it, and it does well. But anyhow, the Encore Golf Studios. Welcome in John Ashton here in the very same aforementioned studios. Jeff Smith in the mobile Golf Guy studio somewhere in the hinterlands of Tennessee, and we're going to go down to a buddy of ours, Mike LaFrance from Doe Valley Country Club in Brandenburg, Kentucky. And one of the reasons why we're going to go to him is because he is a friend of ours, so he answers our phone calls. With no questions asked, that's great. But he's also a member in good standing of the Seymour Putter Institute, which means you can explain to me what the guy at the PGA show named Corey was doing for 30 minutes as he kept handing me different putters and told me to stroke this ball over here and hit this ball over here and try to miss the cup. What was he doing?
Well, I think the basic thing that they're trying to do is, number one, get the correct length that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Length is a key thing. And then after the right comfort of the length, then they're looking at the lie angle of the putter to make sure the putter lies flat to the ground so that the toe is not up or the heel is not up, it just lies flat. And when I'm looking at a Seymour, because a Seymour putter, when you lean over and you're looking at the rifle scope technology that you're supposed to cover up the red dot.
Right.
Then the putter has to lay flat so that the toe doesn't dig in or the heel, so that the putter, when you're swinging that putter or stroking it, it doesn't tend to flare open or close when you're putting.
I was playing golf with a guy the other day, and I noticed he's got one of these, super duper, like I used to have B-1 bomber kind of looking putters with all kinds of wings and stuff on it. But his toe was elevated, not the toes of his foot, the toe of his putter.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wanted to say, I don't think you're supposed to do it that way, buddy. But I didn't. I kept my mouth shut because what do I know?
But the only thing, but I can also say this, in our recollection of past history, remember Aoki, Isao Aoki, and he was, close with Nicklaus and all those guys, but he putted, and the putter leaned on the heel of his putter, and the toe stuck way up. But that's the way he did it.
I guess if it works for you.
If it works, you've practiced hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. But the easy thing with the Seymour putter is by getting the putter to lay flat, and you use the rifle scope technology, which is cover up the red dot. And when you stroke the ball, your stroke is going to be more consistent, and that's what that does for you. So. But also by lying flat, it's not going. The toe won't catch, nor will the heel, and your putter should be coming through straight on the line that you're aiming on.
Yeah, we need to get like a laser scope on those things.
Right.
That rifle scope is cool and it helps a whole lot, but
helps a whole lot.
Maybe a homing device. We could work on that. Jeff, you were about to jump in, man. You've got kind of a funky setup with your own putter, but jump on in here with teaching expertise.
You were making mention of people that putt with the toe in the air, and Mike certainly chimed in with this. Aoki, one of the greatest putters. It was certainly angled very much with toe in the air. The thing that everybody needs to know is you have to aim significantly right, because when the toe's in the air, the putter face is actually pointed further left. And that's something that John, you need to remember But now that you've been fit properly for your Seymour putter, that you might not have to remember that anymore.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to forget now.
Well, now it's with the putter laying flat on the ground, it's going to be easier for you of aiming it where you think you should be aimed.
I need to get
because
both.
That putter is flat on the ground and it's seated properly.
Yeah, and it's much easier to aim. But I need to get both y'all's opinion on this. I got the Giant, and the head on this putter is massive. It's not quite as big as my head. There is nothing as big as my head. Okay, you can ask anybody.
A frame of reference there.
But the head on this putter is very, very large, and it's also heavy. And that's one of the questions they asked. Do you like a light putter? Do you like a heavy putter? I like a heavy putter. It just, for some reason, it feels more comfortable to me. But is the size of this head just for the weight, or is there something else that it's going to help me with because the head is so large?
There's two things. I think it's for easier alignment, but it might be because of the weight if you want a heavier putter.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, there was a company that was called Heavy Putter, and that was supposed to give you a smoother stroke, so it's possible.
One of the things we ran into down the PGA show for the second consecutive year is the Cure putter, which you can actually add weight to, and that too has a massive head.
It does.
Which one?
The Cure.
Here's
the Cure, as in,
the Cure putter,
Yeah, cure what ails you.
John, one of the things I think about, when you're talking about this massive putter, try to imagine it being harder to move because the weight is even further out. So think of it as the Titanic and what it would take to try to quickly steer the Titanic one direction or the other. It would be slow to twist, wouldn't it?
Okay.
That's one of the things that they get these bigger putters. Like we mentioned, the Cure putter right there. If you remember on the Cure putter, when you can add weight to it, it's always on the toe or on the heel, and the farther away it is,
right,
the harder it is to twist.
Yeah.
Right.
So once you go through the alignment process with the rifle scope, which is really cool, man. It's red dot at the heel of the putter head. Just cover it up with the shaft, and wherever the line on the putter head is aiming, that's where you are square to. So rather than having to do a two element alignment to the cup, all you have to do is a one element alignment. You just have to make sure that you are aiming where you want to aim. You no longer have to first aim where you want to aim and then make sure that the putter head is square so that you actually hit it to where you're aiming. Makes it much easier, and not twisting anywhere as easily. That's a good point, and probably is the reason and much appreciated on the part of amateurs who have no idea what they're doing once they start that backswing with a putter.
Yeah, that's the toughest thing
Sometimes
about
it's a really good idea for them not to know. If they're thinking about it, they're going to have a hard time making any flowing, easy moving stroke. Sometimes people think too much, and then their hands start to wobble around, and they start to twist the putter and do things because they're actually thinking about it, actively thinking that they're trying to do something in their backswing. And boy, that's a rough thing.
Yeah,
it's a rough thing. It's much easier to set it up properly for your body and for your eyes, and then just kind of let the stroke just flow through. It's so much easier.
Mike, you guys have been thinking down there. You've got what I was reading. Got your email today. A one club tournament this weekend. That sounds like fun. I've never played in one of those, but actually it's a two club because you do get to take a putter with you,
you get
too,
to
right?
use your putter. Basically, we were gonna have this at our New Year's Day event, but I had some people that didn't want to play it, so I rescheduled it for Valentine's, and it was actually going to be last Saturday, but it was 70 degrees, so I didn't. So this week it's only going to be 50. So the players that want, but it's a very fast format. But whatever club you pick, that's the one you have to hit all your shots with. Whatever shot you have to do, and then it's an alternate shot. A, B, C, D. So the A player starts the hole, and then the B player hits a second, C hits the third, so on and so forth. Whoever putts out, the next player has to drive with whatever club they have chosen.
Ah.
And a couple of years ago, I had a senior guy. He chose a pitching wedge as his club. I don't know why. But he chose a pitching wedge as his club, and he had to drive on 6 of the holes out of 18. So I said, well, but it's just a fun, fast format. People were requested to want to play it, so we're going to do it.
Now, with the alt shot, I've always thought is the best way in the world to lose friends. I got the impression from the email that you put the teams together. You can't just bring 4 people and say, okay,
Right.
we're a team.
Right. This is going to be a blind draw, A, B, C, D. Yeah. So you don't have to be with your friends. I'm going to put you with somebody, and, well, there you go.
I guess that goes back to Clint Eastwood. Hey, punk, you feeling lucky?
Yeah, feeling lucky.
No,
But it's going to be fun.
Yeah, drinking heavily prior to.
Oh, yeah, I give them Valentine's beverages at the beginning. I won't tell you what.
There we go. There we go.
But they're red. That's all that counts,
They're red.
man.
Yeah,
All right.
they're red.
So,
Right.
Mike LaFrance with Doe Valley Country Club down in Brandenburg, Kentucky. And if you're in the area, it's just another one of those fantastic golf courses that we have all over this state. If you're traveling, I mean, it's not too late. We still see Michigan cars all over the interstate here on their way to Florida. Give yourself a couple days and stop and play some of the golf courses that you're going to come across driving down the highway here in the Kentucky area and the Tennessee area before you get down to Florida, where all the golf courses look alike and they're overpriced this time of year. So I'm just saying. But check it out. Mike, thanks for spending some time with us here, man.
Appreciate your call.
And we'll be down there in a little bit, man. I'm not gonna do a one club, but at least not this
you
weekend.
might want to come for the Green Beer Open.
That altogether is a possibility.
Green Beer Open,
Short
it's,
and
individual stroke play your own ball.
Short and Bogota. We
March
may see you on St.
19th.
Patty's Day, man.
St. Patrick's Day, Green Beer Open, March 19th.
Sounds good to me. Thanks, Mike.
All right.
Take it easy, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right. And we will be right back. Don't you move. We are those weekend golf guys. You can always follow us on Twitter. It is twitter.com at WKND Golf Guys on Twitter. That's where we are. We do stuff every once in a while that's absolutely worthwhile.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Then get on board with the Tax Admiral and let us steer your way to financial freedom.
The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. They can freeze your bank accounts, seize your car, home, will garnish your paychecks and benefits.
Don't take on the IRS alone. I can fight for you using industry secrets that can help stop the IRS. I'll cut your penalties, slash your interest, and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company with over 30 years experience helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. And we have a 95% customer satisfaction rating.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, are facing an audit, a lien, or levy, then call me right away.
Call 800-329-2708. Again, that's 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-554-4183 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-554-4183 to take your call now. Call 800-554-4183. That's 800-554-4183. Again, 800-554-4183.
Hey, Jeff, I got to come to you, man. I need some help. Out playing golf last weekend, 4 of us, at least 2 of them, outdrove me on a regular occasion.
To pick up your club head speed, I have found these training aids that are just the world's best thing I've ever seen. Super Speed Golf has some training aid sticks, and they've got this beautiful training program that goes with them that you can get online. My clients have picked up a lot of club head speed and a lot of distance in a relatively short period of time. I'm more impressed with this than I am with anything else that I've ever seen on the market to make people swing their club faster. And we all know that's what, one of the big factors in producing distance.
That's right. Faster equals longer. That's what I'm looking for, man. Longer.
That's right.
By being faster. Super Speed. What's the website? Where do I go?
superspeedgolf.com. Go to superspeedgolf.com, pick up some of these sticks, go through their training program. It is eye-popping how much distance you'll pick up.
And we are here still, those Weekend Golf Guys, live in the midst of the Encore Golf Studios. Jeff Smith is live in the Golf Guys mobile studio, who is now tooling his way up Interstate 65 on the way home to the Golf Cave at Columbus, Indiana. I'm John Ashton, and we just talked last segment. Hope you got to hear with Mike LaFrance, who's the head pro at Dove Valley Country Club. It's a nice course. And again, just want to reiterate, if you're traveling, and I think they say 62% of the population of the United States is within a 5-hour drive of this area. That's why UPS put their hub here. It's almost centrally located, even though geographically it's Denver. But as far as, people are concerned, this is like the middle of the country. So if you're coming through here, stop. Give yourself a couple extra days. Stop. We got so many great golf courses that are so inexpensive to play.
How about you, Mr. Kentucky State Chamber of Commerce guy?
Yeah,
all right.
I just thrilled to death because I have lived in places where you go to play golf and you're shelling out $75, $85, $100 to play 18 holes, which kind of puts a crimp in your ability to play often. But when it's $35 to $45, $50 to play at a very, very well designed, well kept, well maintained, and well run golf course, that makes it so much more enjoyable. That's it. End of commercial. Let's move on. One of the things that they're doing down at...
you play it twice.
Yeah, you play it twice. That's right. One of the things they're doing down at Dove Valley this weekend is a one-club golf tournament. I have never played in one of those, but I was thinking as Mike was explaining the rules, and in case you missed it, it's a 4-person alternate shot, A, B, C, D, and it's in order. So if you putt out on hole number 1, whoever follows you tees off. So it's not like, a player tees off on every hole. It's constant rotation. You can only take a putter and one other club with you out on the course. And I was just sitting here as he was talking about what would I take? And I think I'd take my 4 hybrid.
You would, huh?
Yeah. Because I can
Why would you choose that? Why would you use that club?
Well, because if I were teeing off, I could hit that depending on, phase of the moon, anywhere from 180 to 200 yards.
Right.
Which is, even from a tee-off situation, is a decent yardage to get you out there. And shorter, things like you were saying earlier in the show, it's an iron, or you set up like an iron, you use it like an iron. It's shorter, so you've got more control over it. I can choke down on it and shorten my backswing and hit it with authority, but not quite as far. And I can also use it to chip, kind of a Texas wedge kind of thing. I could use it if I were to get in trouble. If my partner who preceded me puts me in the rough, it's a much better club for getting out of the rough than what a wood. And I think it's just more adaptable to more situations that you'd run into, since you can't determine in what order or where on the course you're going to be when it becomes your turn to shoot. I just think it would be probably the smartest choice for me.
Sounds to me like you've given it a lot of thought on club management, golf course management too.
No, I've just given it a lot of, I've given it as much thought as you can during a 3-minute commercial break.
Well, I've played in one-club tournaments before, and I've played using one club. I do it at least one time every spring when I work with the high school kids.
Okay.
And I have a goal all the time. And so far I've not quite reached my goal, but I'm awfully close. I'll go out and I'll take an 8-iron. And that's my one club.
Really?
Because, I can hit the 8-iron 155 yards in the air, full swing. And so I know that after my first shot, my ball will be in play.
Right.
155 yards out. I know that you're familiar with that, and that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm doing it with an 8-iron, and then I'm going to hit another 8-iron, and I'm also going to be in play, and now I've hit it, 155 yards twice. So now I'm already within, on my third shot, I'm within that 8-iron distance for sure on almost every hole except a par 5.
Yeah.
I now am learning to do what we did before on put a different club in your hand and learn how to hit it a certain distance, so I can hit these a bump and run shot with an 8-iron. I assume that I'll still be in the middle of the fairway, and there's room for me to do that. I can hit a soft, gentle pitch shot with an 8-iron by moving the ball up a little bit in my stance and opening the face a little bit. I can chip well with an 8-iron. I can putt with the leading edge of an 8-iron. I can hit bunker shots with an 8-iron by putting the ball a little bit more forward and opening up the face a little bit. I can do an awful lot of things with an 8-iron, and I found that so far, playing from the normal men's tees at most golf courses were a 6,500-yard golf course on 18 holes, but for 9 holes of that at the normal men's length, my best is 41.
Wow.
And that's including putting with the leading edge of my 8-iron, where the only thing I had in my hand was the 8-iron. And I had a tee and a pitch stakes tool and a golf ball, but other than that, that's it.
I would see where
if I'm going to go play in a one-club tournament, I'm going with an 8-iron.
With an 8. I could see we're taking my my 4 hybrid could become problematic from a shot if I were left with a shot from a greenside bunker, at which point I think probably what I just do is I just screw the shot up, knowing I was going to screw the shot up, blame it on the guy in front of me, and leave it to the guy behind me to fix. See, I've thought of everything.
What if you had to play? What if you had to play? All the shots with the club you chose. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've done that as in a teaching moment. I'll take high school kids out, because the thing that makes them the maddest is that I'm beating them, and I'm shooting 41, 42, 43, and I'm winning.
Yeah.
And they're not shooting that because, you see, they insist on hitting a driver off every hole that they could hit a driver on, and they're not that straight, which means their first shot is significantly farther than mine, maybe, but it's certainly significantly farther offline, and their second shot is not from the fairway going to the fairway. It is a punch-out shot of some kind. And sometimes they get smacked behind a tree, and the tree swats their ball down, and now they've hit 2 shots, and they're still behind a tree, or they're still in thick rough, and they're plenty far from the green. So my third shot is easier than their third shot. From a course management standpoint, I keep pounding into their brains a little bit. Where is your ball on the course after your first shot?
Yeah.
Where is it after the second shot? Where is it after the third shot? Do you have a chance to putt for a par or a bogey? Do you have that chance based on what you've done to yourself? And so from a course management standpoint, I stress an awful lot of those things about where's your ball. So far, in three years' time and in 6 attempts at doing this, I'm undefeated with the high school kids, because they get angry that there's this old guy out there beating them with an 8-iron, and he putts with the 8-iron too. See, and that's also a mental strategy on the golf course as well, telling them how to control their emotions.
Yeah.
Because they're so wrapped up in they're getting beat by a guy hitting an 8-iron, and then they're going to grab something and they're going to try to hit something harder, which is also a good lesson in terms of not just course management, but self-management on how to play the game better, how to control yourself, and how to learn from the guy who's winning, as opposed to just being mad that the guy's winning and swinging harder. Because that's what most of the young kids will do. They just get out there and they just swing harder because they're angry.
I kind of a related topic here. I had an epiphany a couple weeks ago on the golf course.
Uh-huh.
I was about maybe 40 yards away from a green after a horrendously fantastic tee shot on a horrendously short par 4. But I took my lob wedge, and I knew that a full swing would be over. So I practiced on doing like a 3/4 swing, but I concentrated on making sure that I was coming through the ball with force. A lot of times if you're doing a shot that's shorter than you can do with the club you have in your hand, you try to back off of it a little bit, which winds up just screwing up the shot completely. So I did that, a much shorter backswing, maybe halfway, but then just concentrated on making sure that I was accelerating as I struck the ball. And I swear to you, man, I put it about maybe a foot from the pin on the green.
That's exciting.
And it was like, wow, that's what they say when they say accelerate through. This is what they mean. It works.
Isn't that amazing?
It works.
Yeah.
So I just want to say here, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm amazed that it took you that long to feel that.
the Jeff Smiths of the world, they're right. Try it. It works. Hey, listen, we work too. And you can catch us back here next week, this same place at this same time, hopefully. And we will be talking about swing speed and other things next week. Also want you to download our apps. They're free from the iTunes Store or the Android Marketplace, and you can catch our show anytime you feel like it. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Golf Guys. Follow us on Twitter at WKND Golf Guys, or just check out the website, thoseweekendgolfguys.com. I covered all the bases. Go out and play some golf. We will see you next week right back here. Bye.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Then get on board with the Tax Admiral and let us steer your way to financial freedom.
The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. They can freeze your bank accounts, seize your car, home, will garnish your paychecks and benefits.
Don't take on the IRS alone. I can fight for you using industry secrets that can help stop the IRS. I'll cut your penalties, slash your interest, and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company with over 30 years experience helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. And we have a 95% customer satisfaction rating.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, are facing an audit, a lien, or levy, then call me right away.
Call 800-329-2708. Again, that's 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708. 800-329-2708.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-554-4183 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-554-4183 to take your call now. Call 800-554-4183. That's 800-554-4183. Again, 800-554-4183.